In this lesson, we'll discuss code formatting and how to automate it. For this, we need a tool called Prettier. Let's get started. First, we need to install it. npm I, which means install. Then we add with the flag D, meaning install in Dev Dependencies. Dev Dependencies are those that won't be used in production. And dependencies are those that will go into production. We format only locally during development, so we put it in Dev Dependencies. Prettier, installing, installed, here it is. Great. Now Prettier needs to be configured. To do this, we will create a prettier.rc.yml file. It could have been in JSON format, but I always recommend using either YML, TS, or JS format when possible, because you cannot add comments in JSON, while in other formats you can, and that is convenient. Okay? Now we use the config. I carry this config from project to project. You can customize it to your needs. But the most important thing in Prettier is to at least have some kind of config so it's there, and your code is always formatted consistently, whether you wrote it or a team member did. You always know the formatting style will always be consistent. Let's review this config. Here we assert that all our lines should not be longer than 120 characters. If they are longer, they should be wrapped somehow. Trailing comma is the rule that defines when commas are needed at the end of an array, objects, or function arguments and when not. I use the ES5 value. This means to put commas wherever possible, as allowed by this JavaScript specification. There you go. You can set it to all if you prefer that. And then trailing comma will be everywhere, but it doesn't matter. The main thing is to set something here. Tab width is the size of the tab. It's 2 spaces. Then semi is the semicolons. We want them to not be there. Single quote. We want them to be single, not double. Saving the config. Now let's add a JSON script to the package that will go through all our files and format them. Appending. Let's call it Projectify. You can set any name. I like Projectify. And now we need to define the command itself. The command itself will be as follows. Projector. Even if it's not installed globally, PNPM knows to use Projector from our installed packages. Then I also add the log level warn flag to output more information. I also ask it to cache the results to make it work faster. And now we need to determine which files it should use to format. I will now copy my usual setup and tell you about it. So, what's here? Here we define a pattern that specifies which files to format. I ask it to edit everything in the src folder, any nested folder, any file, and also all files located at the root of the web app folder. The thing is, Projector can format not only TypeScript and JavaScript files, it can also format JSON, YML, CSS, and much more. Good. Here, I asked it to format all of that, specifying the extension as well. And additionally, I asked it not to format. That is, this sign is negation. Anywhere, anything except in node modules and not in dist. And take nothing there. That's it. So we've set this exclusion. That's all. Now we have this command save the package JSON. How to run this script? Here. Type npm protify. Run it. Great. And see what has changed in the files. Okay, we have some changes in app.tsx. As we see, double quotes turned into single ones, and semicolons were removed. In main.tsx, semicolons were removed, and single quotes were added. That's exactly what we needed. You usually don't need to run this script. Your code editor has the Prettier extension installed. Here's the extension. The link to it is in the lesson description. It will automatically format files when saving. At the same time, you might need to format your file before saving. And for that, there are special commands in VS Code with the extension installed. Let's see how to invoke this command. You need to open the command palette. Check which hotkeys you have for it. I have a double shift press, but it's not standard. I once moved from WebStorm to VS Code and transferred my hotkeys. Here you'll have some different hotkeys. Okay. We call this command, and you can invoke any VS Code command here. We are specifically interested in the format document command. And here you can see what hotkey is assigned to this command. Well, here I call it, and my document is formatted. I'll choose a comma, put quotes here. And I'll call this command using hotkeys. I called it, the file normalized. I highly recommend learning and using all hotkeys. It simplifies development, makes it more pleasant and faster. So, clip has been added. We've figured out how to format in VS Code. I should also note that later we will make it so our files automatically format on commit. This is very convenient, so you'll always have pure code in the repository. We will also look into ESLint later, which also helps us with formatting, but much deeper and with different things. But we'll talk about that later. Thank you all. Let's move on.